when I finish the composition, I can hear the song and then I can start visualizing or have an idea of how to name this song, and it's a better way to target the actual title of the song after it has been composed, not before. Because it's all about the beginning. It's all about how can I start composing my music and worry further down the line about how am I going to title this actual music track. Hello guys, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Daniel from stockmusiclicensing.com. Now today I want to share with you a quick tip when it comes to putting titles to your stock music track. Now, before I get into it, this is something that happened to me when I started getting into stock music compositions. And when I started a new composition or a new project, you usually have to save a file in your DAW. And I will always get immediately, as soon as I open a new session and I had to save it as something, I will title that project, But I didn't know exactly what this music track was going to end up sounding like. I didn't know what it was that I was composing. I knew it was going to be stock music, but I didn't know exactly what kind of music track I was going to compose. So what happens usually is that I will have to actually title that project in my DAW and say this song is going to be called Inspirational Motivational Stock Music Track, right? And then you can always retitle obviously the actual file, but in order to keep myself in order or have some kind of like structure when it comes down to file management inside my projects or my computer as well in the hard drives, I decided to have like a different angle or a strategy for it. So what I did, I started naming my projects. Okay, I forgot about the title. Okay, number one, I don't title my songs in the very beginning. What I do is I just open a new session in my DAW and I will title it motivational. Okay, for example, in this case, and this motivational will be, it could be a corporate track or it could be something similar. So here's what I mean. Okay, so here I am in my iTunes, and you can see that I have a name. In this case, I have rock themes. So I will name my tracks in the very early stages or sessions. I will name them as themes. So in this case, it's rock themes, and this goes on forever. And obviously, you can see that different. Then they have different names. Okay. I don't worry about the names in the very early stages of the composition. So that way I can keep track of how many rock themes I have and how many acoustic tracks. Here are the pop tracks, for example. And I can keep track of how many pop tracks I have. And it's just themes that I'm thinking at this point. Here are the motivational ones. Motivationals usually fall under corporate kind of tracks, but then it could be many things. It could be maybe a motivational track could become a pop track, actually a pop rock track as well. But I'm not worried about in the early stages of my composition. They're just motivational themes at this point to me, and that's how I keep track and organize my files. Here are the acoustic themes. Okay, so it's just folk acoustic, and I just name them and give them numbers, so I can keep a little bit of a organization. So this is a good, and you can see that my iTunes is just pretty much my music. It's all my part of my catalog. I don't have it all here, but this is a big chunk of it. And I highly recommend that you do something similar, or maybe you have a different system really when it comes down to file management. For me, I put them in my iTunes because I like to be quite honest, I don't listen to any music. I just compose so much music that I really don't have the appetite to listen to much music, but I use my iTunes as well to convert some of the files as well to MP3, and you can see that this is this is an example. It will be folk theme 92. This is the master with the watermark. That's for Audio Jungle, and then I will give it a name. Okay, and I know that it's an acoustic track, and this is just a file management for me, and I worry about the title of these songs much later on, much later on. Okay, you can see I have a Latin theme here, number 1, a Latin theme number 2. I don't have much hip hop lo-fi theme. These are just experiments, but it keeps me. And you can see if I'm doing stuff in a particular theme, like a marimba thing, These are just experiments for me to actually keep track of not only what I'm doing, but at the same time, see how many files I have on a particular track. So it is a way for me to keep track. And this goes on for ages. This is endless, really. You know, and I like to keep it like this. I like to keep it, you know, in my pop tracks as well. I have some different, how you call it, edits as well, and it just helps me. But the original name of the songs or the themes, this is what the project looks like in my actual DAW. It will be just Pop Theme 88, you know. And it could get a little bit messy at times, because you might say, okay, which one is high energy pop? But you know, it is a good technique for me to keep it this way. I got used to work in this manner, and you know, and in the file I will have this as my title, really. So anyways, guys, it's just a quick tip. I get asked a lot about how do I manage my files or file management. And yes, it can become a little bit messy when it comes down to where do you put these songs, how do you structure them. At this point, my main focus is what themes they are, and then I will decide how to title them. So it's just a little strategy or a little technique that I have developed earlier on. From the get-go, even if I knew that I was going to do a pop rock track, I didn't want to call it Sunny Day or whatever, or motivational, inspirational, even though that was going to be the end result, even though that I might just name that file like that. But in my head, I need to, or visually, I need to actually think in terms of themes. So when the song is finished, you know, I can just start thinking about, okay, I will call it motivational, inspirational, okay, or indie pop rock track, you know, and just go for a generic name. But it's just a little technique for me to just, from the get-go, when I open my DAW and I start composing, I'm just thinking in terms of theme. So is it going to be an acoustic track? It will just be folk acoustic theme number 1 or 300 or whatever point I am at, and I can see how many I have of those, and I will put them on actual iTunes, and you know, and obviously I have it on iTunes, and I have it on a separate folder as well, and in the actual DAW as well, it will look like that. It will be motivational theme number 350 and whatnot, and that's the way I organize my files, and this is just a technique that I did not only for organization and file management, but mainly for titling. That was the main reason, okay? Like I mentioned, it could become a little bit messy, especially if you say, okay, this song is called inspirational, motivational, like many stock music tracks, and then you wonder what file is that song in it, you know what I mean? But that's my system. That's how I do it. That's how I like to start, because it's all about the beginning. It's all about how can I start composing my music, and worry further down the line about how am I going to title this actual music track, you know, because it is a little bit of a head full, you know, because at times when I listen to the music, actually after it's been composed, even though it might be a pop rock theme, when I finish the composition, I can hear to the song, and then I can start visualizing or have an idea of how to name this song, you know, and it's a better way to target the actual title of the song after it has been composed, not before, okay? So anyways, man, this is just a quick technique that I had developed earlier on when I started composing stock music, just to save me the grief to not worry about how am I going to title this music track even before I even started the composition. Anyways, man, thanks a lot again for all the love and support. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. And as always, man, I'll see you in another video. And rock and roll.